we're having lunch, and today we're talking about cooking.
Oh, that's right. Talking about a lot of fun stuff.
Who's the better cook?
That's not hard to. Clay, you're not a cook.
I'm just actually I can cook.
You cooked spaghetti and chili Sunday when I gave you the directions.
And it was outstanding. So there's that.
You didn't drain the meat.
No, and I did that intentionally to keep the flavor in, which allowed the meat and the sauce to be very succulent.
Okay, before we start and get into this, Patrick's on this call, and I wanted to tell you guys, Patrick, after this call, I have a list of things to hand to you, and we have to get it from Ted as well. We told people about how we're growing the brands and different things we're doing, from the fashion show to the mentorship program, to the Rahm Foundation, and Ted should be back in a little while. He went to get some food. And he is going to talk a little bit about what we're doing for Turkey to raise money. So I do want you guys to know, and I said this during our travel, we have personally done different things, and as a business done things for Turkey. So any of you guys that want to know, have we? Yes, we actually do a lot for a lot of foundations throughout the world. When there's a disaster, we try to either personally step in or have one of the companies step in, or both. And that's what we're doing in this situation. Clay even went over to Turkey, and we're trying to make sure we have a different position where we can continue to help people in Turkey, just like we have done in Ukraine, just like we've done for mental health, just like we've done for women, and just what we've done for children, and et cetera, all over the world. So I did want you guys to know that.
And we encourage everyone in the community to do this as well, because they can, while you might not need to create a nonprofit foundation to be able to do it, you can create, if you had a purpose of doing this, you could create a new account for, a cause. And as long as you're doing it for the right purpose and you are actually going to donate the money, and there are ways to do that, because you could transfer it within the ecosystem. And it's really creating opportunities to use the entire routiverse to do good for people.
Yeah.
Right, because you can have people that were in Turkey, actually, maybe that need money. Maybe you picked out, a certain group of people, and they can create accounts. You can transfer funds to them, and they can get products, or they can even work to extract it and do some different things. So,
right. And I think that we've done a combination of all that. We encourage you guys to too. We are a community that's, not just for health and wellness. We're a lifestyle community that's here to change lives to be better and greater throughout the world. That's our goal, and that's our mission. But we do want you guys to know also another housekeeping item, something that we want to make sure that you guys are aware of. If you are interested in volunteering or helping us with the mentorship, the fashion shows, the different brands like Bill and Q, or translating or science or whatever, please get with Patrick. Ted also has a list, Patrick, that we need to get, because we're going to start organizing. Every time someone volunteers or wants to be involved in something, we're going to make sure that we start enlisting the community to help us in a lot of different ways. So Patrick, I'll meet with you about that afterwards. I kept forgetting to tell you that that was one of the things that happened during this last trip. And I do want to say, we're still recovering a little bit.
yes, we are.
We're tired. There wasn't a lot of sleep on this last trip, but we got to see so many amazing people. It was a fantastic, amazing time. And we want to say thank you to everyone. It touches our life to touch people. And that means a lot. The mentorship program that we have in place is so that we can mentor the younger generation. We do have a university called Rahm Thomas University that will be accredited by this summer. And we will be able to teach undergraduate, graduate school, and PhD programs in a lot of different areas. We will roll that out. That will be online. And also we're going to launch it in the metaverse. We will do some physical classes here in Nashville, Tennessee, but it mainly is an online program. And we are going after accreditation in the United States as well as internationally. so that people internationally can also get college degrees, master's programs, and PhDs through our university. So we have a lot of different opportunities, from teaching to speaking to mentoring younger generations. And when you guys mentor, we do help from the root perspective, help pay for mentorship, where we are supporting interns and people, but it's on a case-by-case basis. And we also, like I said, are interested in people that are interested in like carve outs. Like if people are interested in Bill and Coo because they're really veterinarians or they're into animals, we want to know so that we can follow up with you and spend time and have you be our leaders and share that within our community, because we're growing so fast in so many different areas that you've just got to let us know what you're interested in helping with and where you want to help and what you think you can do. And if you want guidance on any of that, like I said, please reach out to Patrick or to Ted, because Ted and I both worked on this a little bit while we were traveling. But we want to engage the community even more.
Yeah.
So
Should we get into this?
let's get into it.
So what are we talking about?
So
Talking about the disclaimer first, because we have to be compliant.
right.
So as we talk about cooking and an amazing cookbook today, what you're going to get to see is educational and entertainment in nature.
That's right.
It's not while we're going to be talking about not howing, but how you can eat right for specific issues. It's not designed to treat or cure any diseases, and you should consult with a healthcare professional
That's right.
prior to making any decisions about your health.
It's also, why are you laughing?
Because it's kind of a joke. You don't have to deal with a healthcare professional to make decisions about your health. You should do it on your own.
Yeah, I know,
You
but
should come here and learn. That
we-
way you can tell your practitioners what they need to be doing for your health.
that's not on the record. We don't believe that. We believe that you all have personal, it's your personal health, but we also legally have to obviously say that you need to consult with a medical healthcare provider, because
If you have health issues.
we're protecting the root community, and we're protecting the safety of this company by saying that. So
There's a new cookbook called Cure the Causes by Dr. Rahm.
that's right.
It's my favorite cookbook of all time, actually.
That's right.
And what makes this unique is chapters are actually written for foods and recipes for specific conditions.
Yeah.
Right? I've never seen this before. No one's ever written a cookbook to say, okay, if you have an autoimmune disorder, what things should you eat?
Well, it came about because you guys know, I used to work in healthcare in a lot of different areas, and I also went back to Cornell and nutrition and got certified. I know Dory did as well. We really both have focused on different autoimmune disorders and diseases and how we should like help. Because I worked for pharmaceuticals and did so much research in this area, it was really important to me that we were able to roll out something in it that pertains to this. And I think what was also important, could you go grab the cookbook over there, honey?
Hey, Jayla, go back one slide real quick.
I think what was also important was to be able to integrate our formulas and products from root into the cookbook. So that's what we did. That's what I did.
Can you sign that for me? Because I want an autograph first.
Okay. So I want to show you guys something before we get into it. We actually have information on each of our ingredients under each product in the back of the book. And they're also fit into the cookbook under different recipes. So you'll see different recipes as we go through this that actually pertain to different autoimmune disorders that have our formulations in it. And I want to say a special thank you to Tiger and to Jayla and Stephanie and Tiffany and all the people that really helped with this cookbook and helped with the editing, Dylan, et cetera. A lot of work went into this. This is going to be launched, I think, in a week. Is that right, Clay?
Actually, like now.
Like now, we're launching it, and then we will have an inspiration book that will be coming out soon. But right now we're going to focus on the cookbook, and Clay and I are going to go through each chapter and just talk a little bit about one of the recipes. And so you guys get a little bit of a flavor of this book. We will go into translations in Germany. I have to get with Jorgen on that because he's been helping with that. And we also will go into doing audio books. We have Lisa Kreitz working on that for all of us.
So autoimmune issues.
Clayton keeps yawning.
I know, it's kind of crazy. It's been a long day already. I
Autoimmune,
didn't pop any zero in either. Should I take 3?
no, but maybe you should take 1 or 2.
Oh,
So autoimmune diseases, we have a section in the book, or I have a section that really talks about autoimmune diseases and sicknesses and how you can help control it. And then you can see that in the first bullets, we talked about gluten-free diets, anti-inflammatory diets, plant-based diets, autoimmune protocols, because it's really important for people to understand that there are certain things that really assist the body with autoimmune disorders. And one of the things that we talk about, or I talk about in the book, is that there are certain foods that are good to mend autoimmune diseases and disorders. Halibut, turmeric, sauerkraut, green tea, broccoli, wild Alaskan salmon. Those are some of them. And then some of the different
kimchi's, like other fermented foods.
right. But in some of the recipes, we actually go into it even further on what is needed, and we get specific recipes on what people can make if they suffer from that. We also go into what vitamins are needed for specific things. So if you look at, I'm not sure what that is right there. If you look at the first recipe,
That's a Jalen Emmer.
I don't know what that is on this. It's not on my paper, but this is a bone broth recipe. This is something we do regularly because bone broth is really important. Some people don't do bone broth because they think that, they're vegans and they don't want to do it. But we understand that bone broth actually is a healthy source that can really help with autoimmune disorders. And if you look at the very bottom of this ingredient for this particular recipe for autoimmune disorders, it also says 1 teaspoon of root restore.
Would you also add some Give Me Back My Youth in this to finish it off?
You could, but
because with the bone broth and everything, you add in some of the colostrum and the additional collagen, you could really kick it up a notch.
you could do that. One of the things is that will change the flavor, and restore will a little bit, but not much because of the coordination of the bone broth. I've actually tried this recipe and it's extremely good. I really love it. Clay is actually very good at making bone broth as well. But one time you made it for me and I put the restore in it, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. So someone else said that you could add clean spirits. Yes. So the answer to this is you can add different things that we have. And I think the key to this cookbook is when you guys have customers or family members and they want to understand what the root products do, this is a great book to go in and per a diagnosis, it shows how our products help and what they do. And
one of the things, I don't want to interrupt you too much.
Well, I just wanted to know it even has nutritional benefits. It goes into parasite cleanses. It goes into fungal cleanses. It goes into all of that. So it's not just a cookbook. It actually goes into what people can do for certain disorders.
So there was the point of adding clean spirits or adding clean slate into food, which you can also add it into beverages. And it's important to understand that when you're doing that, you're putting the focus into that dose, into detoxifying the food itself or into the beverage. It could be red wine, which is amazing. It could be coffee. We did that
on our trip.
Yes, we did. It could be coffee. It could be water, right? Because a lot of people are making sure that they detoxify their water now. And when you're adding clean slate into that, here's a warning for you. If you live in an area, or like if you're in Las Vegas is a great example, where they have just really high levels of chlorine in water, and you put some clean slate or clean spirits in the water, you can clear a room. Because what happens is you'll start to have a massive amount of off-gassing of chlorine because of removing the dioxide aspect of the chlorine, and the chlorine will off-gas, and it smells horrible. But it gives you an idea of what you're actually drinking, and 2, it does clean the water up a little bit. But when you're taking clean slate or clean spirits directly, then you're giving that tool to the body to work on detoxifying the system. But if you're putting your clean spirits or your clean slate in rice, if you're cooking rice, you should do this. or if you're putting it in food, you're actually going to work to detoxify the food, and it's going to trap all that stuff, change the flavor a little bit.
I agree, but I also will say, like, a lot of you guys know that I have been struggling with high blood pressure, and we think that's strictly from no sleep, cortisol levels, and extreme stress because of what's been developed over the last 3 months and how much work. My GI, my stomach and different things, like I still shouldn't eat certain foods. I don't care if I put clean slate in it.
No,
There's certain
absolutely. No,
foods.
and that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just talking about, oh, you can eat anything by doing that. It's, you still have to eat right, but making sure that you're doing everything you can to make things best for you, especially if you're cooking for a condition.
Yeah, and I, just so you guys know, I don't think they've launched this. Patrick, can you chime in? I don't think we've launched, I don't think we put this in the back office because I think we were going to launch it first with RPS. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, you're
What's
giving
that, the cookbook?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're ready to go. We just got that last pallet loaded in, so RPS calls coming up soon.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll sell out.
hard book,
Because
hardback and softback.
lately we've been selling out. of
It's a
different
great
ones.
coffee table book.
Yeah, we have a hard and a soft back, but I think this is going to be a very instrumental tool to really help you guys, like I said, with family and friends and with customers, them really understanding the importance of how our products help in different type or assist the body in different types of autoimmune diseases. So the second chapter talks about the anti-cancer diets. So that whole chapter is on cancer and how you should eat certain foods to help you not get cancer or to help prevent someone that's had cancer from getting it again or from it spreading. So for me, for example, I've had so much cancer in my life, and even though we don't make claims that these recipes will do, miracles, we are letting people know there's a certain way to eat that we recommend when it comes to certain disorders like cancer and diseases.
So you've had a brain tumor, you've had a spine tumor, multiple kinds of skin cancer,
Mhm.
and you've designed your diet and lifestyle to eliminate those. And you were also an adjunct professor in oncology at Johns Hopkins for a little bit. So you have
For a small time.
you have a little bit of experience with cancer.
Well, I
So,
also worked for pharmaceutical and biotech companies in that space. And
so,
yeah.
so this is because there was a couple comments that, this type of book, it's not the first time that someone's ever written a cookbook for, disease specific states.
I'm sure.
But
yeah.
it's honestly the first time that someone with a multi-level doctorate background that also has a history of dealing with all these issues
Well, I
has
don't really,
written a book on how to do it.
I don't know who made that comment, but to me, that's ridiculous. Like, of course, there's been different books written about different diseases. I don't know where you saw that.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
We got goodies.
Uh,
But you're doing this and you're putting together a lot of this based on your experience, but also on a lot of research.
yeah, and it's something that, again, we don't tell people you have to buy this book or you have to buy this product. This is something that if you want it, 10 Bakers over here laughing. If you want it,
You have to buy it.
you have to buy
You have to buy this book.
it.
Well,
If-
it's amazing.
if you want to have something that can assist you, like for me, this is a great tool to really help people. I'm sure there's been lots of books that have come out that are similar. I have no idea because this is the one I wrote, and it comes from, like Clayton said, from my experience. And hopefully it will be able to help people around the world that are going through different things, because cancer is not fun. And I want to point out that the recipes for anti-cancer are basically designed, again, to provide a person that's dealing or struggling with this or has a precursor to this to be able to deal with things. Understanding that it doesn't solve things overnight, but that it's a useful tool that can really help. I hope I'm explaining that
Mhm.
right. So, because when you have, I want to explain something, and it was on a previous slide, but when you have cancer, for example, there's different things you need to heal and recover. You need proteins, fats, carbohydrates, fiber, water, antioxidants, spices, et cetera, et cetera. And that was in a previous slide. We went too fast, but it did talk about different things that could really help. And a lot of those things don't include eating sugar or carbs or alcohol, unfortunately. So people just need to understand that. And Clayton's right. We've lived to be healthy, but when we've been traveling so much, we haven't taken as good a care of ourselves as we should, only because when you fly, you lose suitcases, you lose products, you're constantly traveling, no sleep and stress. And so that impacts you over time.
One of us gives away a lot of products when they carry them for themselves.
Yep. And so over time, what happens is you really need to go back and regroup. So that's one of the things Clay and I have done. We are working out every morning. We made a commitment on our way back from Europe that we would put us first.
Oh,
And we would, then everything else would take care of itself. So we put our family first, and then the company, and make sure that we took care of us so we could take care of other people. Because one of the things that you guys have to remember, you can give advice as much as you want. You can love as many people as you want and help as many people, but you've got to take care of yourself first. So I think that's a really interesting part of this cookbook. It goes in and talks about that. It's always focused on you need to take care of yourself, and not so you can be selfish, but so that you can help others. So while there may be cookbooks that talk about autoimmune disorders and diseases and what you should eat, this one also focuses on spiritual and mental and different things that you should do for yourself and for others to make this world a better place. So here's a recipe that I actually like a lot, but I don't do well with brown rice. So I don't do great with risotto. So when I eat this, I have to eat a very small amount because of the fact that I sometimes can have a reaction if I eat rice or corn or wheat, right? So
I would actually do this with couscous.
I was going to say, so some of them may want to do couscous.
I love couscous.
I love couscous.
And is there not a better word in the grain family than couscous?
I like that word.
Exactly. Who doesn't want to say couscous?
I don't
Excuse
know.
me, what would you like to eat as a side? Give me the couscous.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if it's Jayla or Patrick. Let's go through that. Clayton's going to say that word over and over now.
That's right.
So the next one's about antivirals. And you guys know that we've dealt with a lot of viruses lately, right? And you guys hear about the long COVID, you hear about all the issues. I really wanted to highlight this section in the cookbook so that people would understand what they could do to support their body. And you can see apple cider vinegar, green tea, ginger, garlic, mushrooms, yogurt, oregano, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all really important because they really help your immune system. As you age, it affects your immune system. When you're exposed to toxins or weight, or you're eating bad, or you have other infections, or you have mental stress, you don't sleep, this all impacts your ability to fight off viruses and bacteria and diseases. So it's really important that this section really highlighted that. You'll see that even we get into mushrooms and how they help with the immune system, with bacteria, as well as viruses. There's a lot of great information in this cookbook that will be extremely useful to people, I think. So someone's asking about the heat from the process of cooking. Sometimes, so I don't know if you guys know this. Let me use an example. So a lot of vegans will think, are raw vegans. And I for 1 year of my life, I did only raw food. So I've been there. And I've been a vegan before too. I'm not strictly a vegan now, although I am heavily reliant on vegetables.
Mhm.
So if you have high blood pressure, for example, and you eat certain raw foods like broccoli, I'll use that as an example, it's actually not good for your blood pressure. And a lot of people don't understand that, but scientifically, you actually need to heat the broccoli for a little while instead of eating it raw, because if you eat it raw, it can actually raise your blood pressure. So there's this misconception that everything that's a vegetable, mineral, vitamin, whatever, that you should have it raw, a plant.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily true. We could do a whole section on that, but Clay,
I think we will touch on some of this here in a minute, but like cruciferous vegetables like broccolis and such, and actually many different vegetables, by either steaming, roasting, which I'm a huge fan of. I love roasting.
Clayton loves to
vegetables,
roast everything, yeah.
and sauteing them or such, or baking them. You actually activate.
Go back,
the-
please, to the juice.
Peter loves a Jamu juice.
Yeah,
You're activating the enzymes,
Yeah.
that are in those vegetables that your body actually needs. So
right.
it's important not to just pull them out of the ground, but to prep them a little bit. And like if we were going to talk broccoli,
Yeah,
for me, I'm taking broccoli with either some butter, because butter is a superfood, or, you know, really good olive oil,
Use
sea
olive oil,
salt,
yeah.
and some garlic because of its anti-cancer properties. And maybe you hit it like Emerald Lagasse does with a little spice.
Clayton, you
Or-
don't even cook unless I ask you, please cook.
I'm married to you.
I cook.
You get to cook, I get to consume, which is why I can't fit in the shirt.
I love this recipe. I just have to tell you guys, love it. It's something that I think is
So you
amazing.
get fresh ginger, fresh turmeric, a little water, a little black pepper, a little
Yeah.
honey, a little lemon juice.
You make Jamu juice. which
Why
is
would
an
you, why
Indonesian
would you
drink.
just use a teaspoon of Restore though? If you were making something that was this good
You
with
can
that
make
much
a whole
turmeric,
packet.
I'd throw the whole thing in there.
Like this was 4 scoops of relive greens,
What?
a
No
Restore,
wonder I'm full.
natural barrier support. No, you only got one in yours. There was 4 drinks.
Oh, you got the good one.
So no, we all got,
Oh, we all got a quarter.
yes, we all got
Oh,
one
okay.
for it. So there were Restore, natural barrier support, Give Me Back My Youth, and relive greens.
Let's
It's
go.
amazing. And I think we used macadamia milk.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there were 4 of these drinks and they were amazing, but we could have made a variation. So this is just a type of juice that you could try. You can also freeze this, just so everyone knows I've done it, and you can eat it like you're eating a popsicle. So I made these in these little things. Clay or may or may not remember this summer, and I actually put them in some drinks that we have.
Well, and you can make Restore sickles too. You just cut off the top, put it in, put the little stick in there, throw it in the freezer, cut off the package. And kids love Restore sickles. They're amazing.
But again, this is an antiviral recipe and it includes Restore. And Clay's right, you could add a lot more Restore if you want, but this was just something that we wanted everyone to try. And it's really good that you can take and protect your body while you're doing it.
And Peter knows this because he's over in Bali, that this is a traditional Indonesian beverage.
I've got to follow up
And
with Peter.
if you want to make it more American, add vodka
Oh my gosh, Clay.
or tequila.
Oh, Peter.
I will add tequila.
Okay, so this goes into bacterial infections and what people should do. So what is a bacterial infection? So for example, usually pneumonia, bronchitis, sinusitis, sepsis, there's a lot of different bacteria and a lot of different things. You know, we used to live in an era where we didn't even have penicillin, we didn't have antibiotics, and thankfully we have those now. But your first thing you need to do is try to use natural things to try to kill off stuff. And then if that doesn't work, of course, you have to go from sometimes to unnatural things. But we even included in here variations of antioxidants that help with wound healing. And you can see like your zinc, your vitamin E, your carotenoids. I never can say it.
Carotenoids.
I can't say it.
Oh,
Carotenoids and your ascorbic acid. It's really good to help with wound healing. You guys know we also have formulas now for the skin. And as a surprise, we did get
oh, it's here.
the skin defense.
Can you spray me?
We haven't
try it?
loaded that yet, not yet, because it has the things on it. We can do it
Well,
towards
we
the
can
end.
open it.
But we also got the Kodo, the skin defense, and the Environ skin spray or spray for the clothes. So we have all that in. We'll be launching that soon. That can help with wound healing, but also in the cookbook, we put different things to avoid because of inflammation.
Oh,
So you'll see MSG,
what?
refined carbs, trans fats, sugar, refreshments, desserts, cakes, cookies, margarine, whole milk, cheese, French fries. Ted Baker needs to hear that.
Mhm.
Other
You
fried
know, it's funny that vegans kind of try to survive on French fries and they turn to glue in your stomach.
Well, I love French fries,
Oh,
and
who
you're
doesn't love
sitting there
them?
eating potato
I
chips.
have a couple kettle chips that I put in here because of the crunch. It's terrible, but it makes you feel good. Bring on the salt.
So another recipe that I just love are the kefir, berries, and oats. And I love the overnight oats. That's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
kefir is one of those,
Yeah.
things. It's phenomenal for you because you get the fermentation, and that's one of the things you hit on as far as before, some of those foods that are really good for you, the antibacterial standpoint, fermented foods. A lot of cultures are really, really good at creating fermented foods because it's one of the best ways to save foods. Like if you look at different kimchis in Korea, they would, put food in pots and let it ferment because they didn't have refrigeration.
Well, I think
Uh,
what's interesting though is like I said, my favorite is when you actually let it sit overnight.
And
then
just
you eat it,
soak up and
Just, yeah, it's so
get the
good.
tasty goodness in the morning.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can cook this or not cook this so you guys are right in the essence that sometimes if you overcook food, it's really bad. It can actually be cancerous. You want to be lightly cooking things so that you don't overcook the vitamins and minerals out of it. That is important. And someone brought that up. Thank you for bringing it up. Because I think that's really important for people to understand. If you boil something for a long time or cook it for a long time, you can actually get rid of the vitamins and minerals that are in it. And we're already struggling with that because of the fact that our fruit, our vegetables, our meat is not as healthy as it used to be. So be very careful that you don't overcook things in these recipes.
That's actually a big thing now with meat because, of the importance of just getting grass fed, but apparently here in the United States that they're inoculating cattle with different shots that might be mRNA based to get people more stuff. So you want to make sure that you're sourcing not just your produce, but also the meat sources, the eggs, all the different stuff you can get. You try to get it as local as possible.
Yeah, that's true. Like your honeys and your different things you get that helps with viruses and bacteria and the
And
flu
allergies,
and allergies.
right?
Yeah.
Because the bees are getting the pollen from the plants that are local to the area that you live in, and your body is able to use those to decrease any immune responses.
Yeah, I think it's really important to remember all of those facts. And I will say, I saw someone say something about microwaves. So we sometimes use microwaves. We try not to. Microwaves are actually not good for the food. It doesn't produce the stability for the food, and it can actually change how the food is, the nutrients go into the body. It can actually almost deform it, mutate it. Yeah. So, but every once in a while we'll use the microwave. Usually Clay and I use a stove. If we're going to cook something, we usually don't use the
The
microwave.
stove in the oven.
So then the next thing is the parasitic cleanse diet, which I love.
Let's go.
Everyone always asks me about what to do if they have parasites. And of course, a lot of people use Clean Slate, including me. A lot of people use Root Restore, Relive Greens, and Immune Defense Shield. And those are all fantastic. But I also added other things because one of the things I've noticed is people will ask me, what are other things I can do? Because some things are really hard to treat. So dark pecan, wormwood, oregano oil, grapefruit, clove, probiotics. I could go on and on. Frankincense. There's a lot of different things that will really help with that. If you look at why you get parasites, I want to point this out. This says global travel, which we do all the time. And I got a really bad case of parasites when I was in Ukraine one time and ended up in the hospital. I also got some stuff in Nigeria, ended up very sick. So I've been exposed to a lot of parasites. I was in college in the United States and got exposed to parasites and worms. It was extremely sick. So you can get it from undercooked pork or undercooked food. You can actually get it from animals, which I don't have on here, shellfish, seafood, water, et cetera, et cetera. It's everywhere. And I think you guys know it's getting worse and worse and worse. There's a special parasite diet too that we have that can go along with this, but there's a pretty lengthy chapter in here that does talk about what you should do to follow a detox diet for parasites. And a lot of that includes our ingredients in our products and eating things that are very healthy for you and staying away from things like your wheat and your carbs where parasites breed, because they will breed in the fungus or the yeast. So you've got to keep that out of your diet.
And it's important to understand that everything that you've done with all the products and then philosophically, Clean Slate's helping to remove a lot of the toxins that creates a toxic environment for the proliferation of mold and fungus. The fungus is creating the environment in that, I love to say the term moist environment, right? Inside the fungus for the parasites to grow in. So if you're going to focus on being anti-parasitic, you've also got to do what you can to kill off the fungus and remove the metals, which is why we have the Trinity.
So I just would like to say this is one of my favorite recipes.
Oh, we need to cook this then.
Well, I have
let's
once,
go.
but we need to cook it again. So this is really the combination of like cumin seed and nutmeg and clove and coconut oil and clean slate and ginger. I mean, this is black pepper.
That's a gut bomb
This
for
is-
bad things.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really encourage you guys that are sticking to the parasitic cleanse and using our products to add these kinds of foods and recipes
I'd
into your
throw the
diet.
Clean slate and restore in there because you've already got the turmeric, you've got the black cumin seed. Let's go with some more.
So if you guys,
Torch it up a bit.
if you notice, I did not use large amounts of our products. And if you ask why, I'm trying to give an example to people of what they can start with. But Clay's right. If you really are dealing with things, you understand our products, you're really trying to get rid of parasites, or you're really trying to help viruses, you're going to add more to the recipes. You can include it like we do in your meals. Like when we're eating lunch, this is part of our lunch or our breakfast. We had celery juice for lunch this morning, and I've had the relive grains or breakfast. I had the celery juice and then grains for lunch. So fungal overgrowth. So you guys know I talk a lot about parasites and fungus. So of course I did not leave this out of the cookbook. This is chapter 6, and it talks about the overgrowth development, how yeast grows and how it can get in your nail beds and your navel and your genitals. It's really hard. And also I want to tell you guys, I can actually smell the fungus on people's breath, and I can tell when they need more products because they are struggling with the fungal overgrowth. The smell is sweet on people's breath, but it kind of has like a tinge to it. So a lot of people that have autoimmune disorders or issues that they can't figure out and the doctor can't figure out, there's fungus involved and people don't realize it. So to me, this section of the book is very, very important. And we talk about diet, nutrition, and what you should do.
You think that's one of the things that dogs are smelling when they can pick up cancer in people?
I think there's a lot of people that have cancer have a fungal overgrowth. Yeah.
Well, massive.
Yeah.
But that smell is one of the things dogs can pick up.
I think that that's one of the things they can smell. We know for a fact that they can smell cancer. Where's Tilly, by the way?
Tilly's at home today.
What happened?
Well, because she's in heat, so that's one of the reasons.
Is
she's
that
going-
why she's out?
Yeah, that's why she's going bonkers, and she decided to stay home.
Did she decide or did you decide?
I gave her the opportunity to stay home.
How did you give her the opportunity?
Threw the ball outside.
Is she outside, Clay?
She's probably back inside now, but yeah, she's happy.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, dogs can smell cancer and fungus and diseases. And I think that's one of the reasons because of the fungus. That's right, poor Tilly. But listen, I want to go back to this again. Oregano, flaxseed, basil, chia seed, hemp, clean slate, restore, relive greens. All of these things really can help with fungus and lowering it, but sometimes you need to go a lot higher. Bone broth can also help, just so you guys know. With a fungal outbreak, you got to be consistent. So when people say to me, I'm taking these products and nothing's changed, my answer is, are you doing it consistently? And have you sometimes used a higher dose? Not that we can claim to cure anything, but sometimes we need more than what we think we need. This is an asparagus salad with basil leaves. I love this. All of the ingredients in this are targeted at helping with get rid of fungus. So the basil, the olive oil, the lemon juice, the mustard, the sea salt, the brown pepper.
You
So-
could even take that and throw it in a blender and blend it all up and have a kick-ass asparagus soup.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You heat it up a little bit, you activate those enzymes, hit it with a little extra salt. Booyah, Stuart.
I don't know if we say booyah, but I know you do.
I do.
And that's right. So for me, again, the parasites and the fungal are really important chapters because I think they impact everything. When you have an overgrowth of fungus and you have parasites or just fungus or just parasites, it impacts your viral load, it impacts your bacteria, it impacts the entire equilibrium. So you've really got to keep everything in balance. The next section is something that we spend a lot of time in. Our products have helped a lot of people support their bodies that have autism.
People in the spectrum,
Yeah. So
like me.
what does that mean?
I was in the spectrum.
You're not in the spectrum.
That's not what you've told me.
Well, you might have a tinge of Asperger's.
That's in the spectrum.
So, well, I don't like definitions like that.
I don't like titles either, but you know what? If it's a good one, like oppositional defiant, I'll
Okay,
take it.
That's not a spectrum thing, though. That's an attitude thing.
Oh,
That's a personality. So what causes autism? There's hereditary factors, but honestly, as Clay and I talked about a lot, there's environmental factors.
are they hereditary or are they familial, or do you put hereditary and familial in the same class? Because when people think hereditary, they think genetic, right? But what we understand with the spectrum, and even now with, you know, some of the truly known genetic issues like Down syndrome or sickle cell trait, that the true etiology of those issues is actually due to early mercury exposure to cells in very early fetal development. So that's not a hereditary issue. It is a familial issue because a toxic mom is going to push those toxins into the fetus. But then you have the environmental factors of depending upon, you know, the environment that the baby is born into. But
Yeah.
then when they come out and they're born, whether they're injected with different things, whether they're consuming toxic breast milk, the air, the clothes that they're put in, right? The environment that they're in, all of those play a factor.
There's lots of different opinions about autism. Clay's right, but there's all kinds of different autistic support groups. And I've actually worked with autism since I was in my early 20s as a psychologist, and then later as a scientist. And I loved working in this space. I don't get a chance to do a lot of it recently because we're so focused on so many other things, but definitely the foods that we recommend and the products that were made are around really trying to support neurocognitive behavior and really trying to balance it out so that people can be the best they can be. You know, autistic children, there's and adults. I mean, there's a list of things they should eat, and it focuses around really getting things that assist with what's going on in their life. And that includes beans and peanut butter. If they don't have a peanut allergy, you can also use cashews and macadamias, sunflower seeds, seafood, chia seeds, soy milk. There's a long list, and you guys will find even more information in the cookbook about it. But it's really important that parents that are dealing with this don't give their children a lot of sugar. Don't give their children a lot of wheat. Don't give their children things that are really caffeine, for example, causing the child at a high amount that will cause a child to be overactive. However, small amounts of some of these things are really good, which we go into this in the book. And we even talk about poor nutrition, how it increases the risk of diabetes and heart disease, even when you do this with a child, how it will impact them later. Because when you have comorbidities with one diagnosis and then you have another health issue like diabetes. So if you have autism and diabetes, it makes it extra hard for these parents. And it's something we don't talk about enough. So it's addressed in the cookbook. Again, this is not just a cookbook. We called it a cookbook, but it really addresses a number of issues. It goes the next step over beyond cure the causes. And you're going to see 7 series come out where we're really addressing issues from cancer to Lyme disease to different things that we focus on, that I really spent time writing because I want to make sure that people get this information and that you guys are educated on it as much as I am, so you can help even more people.
And you've already dealt with them. You already had Lyme disease. You lost your memory from Lyme disease, and
I did.
you came out and dominated it. You had, you know, the
No,
syringomyelia and the prolactinoma.
We found the disc, remember?
Yes, we did.
We actually found out.
I watched your spine cancer highlight series.
did?
Yes, I did.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
You watched it?
Yes,
Did you see it?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not fibbing.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, you're a little better than alive.
So
Better than most.
thank you, Clay. So recipes for autism, again, you got to look at the different things that you really want to focus on, and you got to make sure that you're preparing things so that that this helps. And I want to point out under the instructions, it says adding things like paprika, cumin, or curry powder. There's also a section in the cookbook that talks about you would use Restore, right? Or you can use Relive grains with the veggie burger. So there's all kinds of additional information. We even do talk about how long you should bake something or how long you should cook something so people understand. We also talk about if there's leftovers, you can freeze them. So we give specific instructions on how long you can take the food or what you should do with it so that you can do what I've done my whole life, which is maybe cook on a Sunday for the whole week and you have it in the refrigerator and you can eat it during the week.
I just came up with the greatest fry sauce ever.
You did?
Yes.
What is that?
It's a little mayonnaise with Restore and just a hint of ketchup.
Did you try that?
No, I haven't yet, but
I
I'm
bet
gonna
that's-
do it with the
tastes
sweet
good.
potatoes. This could be, you know what, all of the fry sauces for every fast food joint just went on notice. Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, this is awesome. The next chapter is on dementia.
Just so you know, everyone that is here, anything that includes mayonnaise automatically becomes a superfood.
That's not true.
What?
You know, that's not true.
Oh, it is. It is.
But
so
Clay
true.
loves it, so I understand.
Little secret, if you want this, the secret foods.
Do you want the
of-
real secret? The real secret is a lot of stuff like ketchup and mayonnaise contains things that aren't good for you.
Yeah, but if you have organic, really good stuff.
Nobody wants stuff that's not good for you.
Right.
That's right.
But here's what if you want my snack as a
Okay.
child, because I grew up poor white trash. So it's true.
Ted,
No, he didn't
Yes,
grow up poor
yes, I
white
did.
trash.
Yes,
why
I
do you
did.
say things like that.
My favorite
That's not a true
snack
story.
growing up was Ritz crackers with mayonnaise.
Okay, that's so bad for you. We're not even talking about that.
So good, and look at where it got me.
Clay, but okay, that's not something healthy that's in the cookbook.
I'm not saying it's in the cookbook, but I'm saying here's the insight. Sometimes you have snacks, and every once in a while, I like to have a
talking
little
about
Ritz with
so
mayonnaise.
what he just said is exactly what you shouldn't eat if you have Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, autism, cancer, autoimmune disorders, Lyme disease. You shouldn't eat what Clay just said.
That's probably true.
But it doesn't mean he didn't love it, which sometimes you eat something you love and you sacrifice. But listen, this is one of the most important as well to me, because you guys know Alzheimer's is not just about an ApoE gene.
Is it fungal?
It's toxins, there's fungus, there's parasites, and there's a lack of nutrients going to the food.
Mhm.
Yes, can I have that, my water, please? Thank you. Trying to drink lots of water. No, I'm not gonna drink that. I'm not gonna drink
Well, give
that.
that to me then. I'm taking. You're not gonna do it.
Ted, you're here getting ready.
Drinking
Yes, yeah, can you, I'm gonna try
drinking
places with
water
you.
from the great Fijian.
So, sorry, guys. It's really important to have leafy greens, berries, nuts, omega-3s. And yes, Regina, I'm working on the omega-3. We have omega-3s in all of our formulas, by
Yes,
the way.
sir. And that was one of the questions people asked me. It's like, are you coming out with an omega-3 product? I'm like, we already have them.
No, but we are coming.
But
out
you
with a
could always
specific
get more.
product. Yeah. And spices such as sage, cumin, and cinnamon. Again, veggies, but it's still better if you heat the veggies for a little bit, just a little bit. And then seeds like sunflowers, flax seeds, and pumpkin seeds, beans and fish. These are all really important things to help assist the body. And I think people underestimate how important that is. It's really even important to have things like blueberries and strawberries and blackberries to help with your concentration and your focus. And of course, zero in is something that's extremely important in this area.
And the hard part with different kinds of fish is, the predatory fish, depending upon what side of the world you live on, they're always high in mercury. So you always need to be taking your clean slate to go along with it. So you can enjoy the fish that might be a little bit polluted. And now there's freaking nanoplastics in the water too, from people throwing all the plastic bottles and everything in the ocean. So you've got to do what you can to eat really well, eat good foods, but then also clean yourself up so we have a clean slate.
Well, and I think what's important about the cookbook, we do go in and on the different recipes, we talk about certain ingredients that are actually in our product. So I'll give you an example. And we talk about this in the book. We talk about it in the front, we talk about it during the book, we talk about it after the book. So you can integrate the
Really?
products into it. Yeah. Go look at
I'm gonna
the,
look at the
and then,
after party.
so like garlic powder is in this recipe. But as encouraged in the book, it might be important to use clean spirits that has a lot of garlic in it
Mhm.
instead of just garlic powder. Clean spirits is actually better for you. But I'm going to tell you guys, if you're using clean slate and clean spirits, you need to put it in at the end and not while you're cooking the recipe. You need to try to do it at the end so that you can really keep preserve the ingredients of clean slate or clean spirits. I, for example, eat fish. We know that fish
We love fish.
it has plastics in the ocean. We know that when you eat it, you can be exposed to mercury and also to plastic. So it's really important to me when I make fish that I use either clean slate or clean spirits, or I take it before or after. So I just wanted to make sure that I explain that to everyone.
We had trout last night. Trout's amazing.
We had trout and salmon
Yes, and it was,
and salad.
yes,
We've really been sticking to like what we said we were gonna do.
about that.
Yeah.
But yes,
So-
we do like fish. And if you're in the South, when I eat fish, it's grouper.
I
Grouper's
love-
so
I
good.
love my own
Grouper,
ball of
grouper's
it.
such a big predatory fish, so much mercury in it. And it tastes so good. So you just know, take your clean slate, enjoy the fish.
So the next one's Lyme's disease, and a lot of you guys know, what is this saying? Why do I
Do we
take aluminum?
I don't know. Let me see. I'll look at that one. That was an interesting question. Mom forces to eat on fries.
Why do you take aluminum?
Do you take aluminum for cooking? You don't cook on aluminum.
Well, I don't understand, but it's okay. People don't live with this.
Yeah.
I think because there was one of them. So you need to understand, Clay, with aluminum, it's not horrible to always cook on aluminum.
No, you just
But
can't
that's-
overheat it.
You can't overheat it.
Yes,
Yeah.
because then you'll cause it to off gas.
But Lyme's disease, let's go into.
Oh,
Lyme
she's talking about
disease.
aluminum foil.
Oh, okay. Where does that say that? Because
I
it
don't
talks about. Have I ever used aluminum foil? If that's a question, I have used it. Again, I make sure that I prepare it and use it in a way where it's not contaminating the food. And I always have. And actually, my mother taught me that. So we could do a whole session on cooking if we want to.
Oh,
I would
we
actually enjoy
We
that
should shoot a cooking show at home
when in our free time.
when the kitchen's
So-
done.
So, thank you, Birgit. The Lyme's disease, just so you know, it's really important that you avoid certain foods, gluten and dairy. So maybe that's one of the reasons I can't have gluten and dairy. I said this the other day to Clay, I'm like, you really shouldn't have gluten and dairy, even if you're not allergic to it, if you've had Lyme's disease or you've had cancer. It's just not great for you, or autoimmune disorders. So even though you may be able to eat it,
Well, and the glyphosate that's in them in wheat in the United States is just horrible for your gut, because people here don't have a gluten intolerance. They have a glyphosate toxicity problem.
we have 2
So
more
you want to
minutes.
do what you can to eliminate it. Keep going. Let's knock it out.
We're gonna knock it out, and then we're gonna let Ted Baker speak about some stuff with turkey, but I want to make sure, if you could go back, Jayla, to the Lyme disease. So Lyme disease is not fun, guys. It's really important that you take certain ingredients or certain foods while you have Lyme disease, and you avoid certain other foods.
No?
And so CBD oil, for example, is something very good. I love to cook with CBD oil. We do not have our own CBD products. I've worked on tons of them in my career. If
Okay.
Clay ever wanted me to launch one, we could do it in a day. We have so many, but right now we've chosen not to, because of the fact that every country is different and it's hard with how we are
It's
in
not
so many
time yet.
countries. But fermented foods are really good. Omega-3s are extremely important, which we have in all of our products. The veggies, which we have in Relive Greens, are very important,
Did you
which we
put
have.
cat's claw in there because of crumpet, just to throw a shot at me?
I did. No, I wanted people to understand that these are things. We have glutathione, just so you guys know, in our products. It's just not
And
on the label. And
Relive
Relive.
Greens provides all the precursors in conjunction with the bioavailable silica and clean slate for the synthesis of glutathione.
If you have Lyme disease, guys, you should be using olive oil. That's what or avocado oil to cook with.
Lots of fats.
You should have lots of blackberries, blueberries, broccoli, cucumbers, green
Cooked.
pepper. Well, lightly, hardly
Yes.
cooked. Cucumbers are fine to eat on their own.
It's nothing like sauteed zucchini and sauteed broccoli, though.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you're going to find different variations on this, but when you're battling an infection or disease, it's really important to offset it with antioxidants and things that can really help you. It's extremely important. And we're going to show you guys a pancake recipe, which I think is amazing.
What?
It has carrots and almonds, and it's extremely healthy for you because of the fact that I've had to change my diet. This is a really amazing recipe, which my daughter and I tried to make, which I don't think we did successfully, but if you'll look at it, because I didn't grate the
You didn't grate the carrots enough. You just peeled them.
Give Me Back My Youth is
Oh,
phenomenal in
Put that in,
this.
put
Yeah.
that in any pancake mix. Kumbaya.
Yeah, but look at the
Oh, it's so
recipe.
good.
You've got carrots, almonds, ginger, flaxseed, 1 egg, sea salt, vanilla, honey. Why don't we have these at the hotels we stay at? Because we could eat this. But anyway, you can make it at your home, and you can add the other products to these recipes. But again, the cookbook is not like a traditional cookbook. It goes into a lot about science and about our community and what we do. And in the back, again, you will see our products and information on our products,
No.
which I love. See if I can find, it's so hard to show everyone, but it'll have restore, for example, in all of our ingredients, and then it will have what is in the ingredient and how it helps at the very back of the index of the book. So there's lots of really cool stuff in the book.
But wait, look at the photo that's on the back of the book. Look at that. And
I
then
didn't even realize what I was wearing today.
Oh, wait.
I have that outfit on. That's
You
what,
don't have all of that outfit on. You don't have the top on, but you're rocking the pants and the hat.
and I'm on my Doc Martens.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so
You want to see me look my best?
So
Okay.
I'm gonna first of all, I want to say thank you again. Again, this cookbook may not be for everyone. I think it's going to substantially help people, honestly, with their customers and their ambassadors. And for you all that are into wellness, nutrition, or your coaches or life coaches, this is a fantastic guide that you can really give to the people that are your clients. So I'm extremely excited about it. I love it because I think it will help people. I think you guys will be able to touch more people by utilizing this book. And again, we'll let you know.
We're going Julia Childs on this one, baby.
It's gonna be a while before we have the German version, but we are trying to make sure we get the audio book as well. This one, if you guys have the opportunity to get it, I would get it because we have had an issue reordering books and getting enough books continuously. But someone asked me the other day if I liked Cure the Causes or the cookbook better. And that's hard for me because I love food and I love to eat healthy. And I see Astrid nodding.
The German cookbook's actually going to be a lot shorter because it's going to say eat more kraut, schnitzel, and less strudel.
Okay, I have to.
That's the book.
Lisa's and I are working on it. Can you come over here, Ted, and talk to them?
Are we gonna talk turkey?
Let's talk turkey.
Hold on, this is crazy. We're talking turkey at the end of February. It's not November yet.
My goodness gracious.
What are we going to
We got a
do?
couple things.
Can we talk compliance too?
This-
Is that okay if I do that
Well,
really
it's
quickly?
through
I mean,
you.
it is through
We can
you.
be as educating as we want.
Let's
This almost, this could be the precursor to the weekend update.
The weekend update is gonna be ridiculous.
Oh, you guys, when the pod room is set up here in the new office, the weekend update, your weekend reports will be
Start to look-
nothing
start to
like
look a
you've
little
ever seen.
different.
They'll be more entertaining than SNL.
I love that. So, and I'm gonna write jokes for Clay to say that will be blasphemous. Anyway.
You don't have to write them.
Anyway, so really quickly, we're gonna talk about turkey first, and there's a couple compliance things we can chat about, but in starting the conversation, first and foremost, we had mentioned this in Munich, maybe when we were in Munich, that one of our ambassadors, who I'm looking at right now on the screen, brought to our attention that it would be a great idea for us to do some sort of give back for all of those that were affected by the earthquakes in Syria and Turkey. And I added Syria to that because it's been brought to my attention that the Syrians have even less help than the Turkish. The Turkish government is very proactive in trying to help their people, and the Syrians really have nothing. So obviously had a conversation with Dr. Rahm and Clayton, and the Rahm Foundation has a position that we've now created that we're opening up for anyone in the community that would want to make a donation to this cause. And we're trying to keep it really simple, and we're also trying to be diligent upon how it affects you guys. So all of you that are ambassadors in the community right now, you all have the opportunity to go into your wallet right now and to make a wallet transfer to the email address, which is for the Rahm Foundation, which is hello@rahmdonations.com. Pat, if you can put that in the chat, hello@rahmdonations.com.
Are we gonna match everything too?
So
Oh.
what we had talked about doing, and then what Clay had talked about doing, was not only doing some sort of match, but also you had mentioned sending.
Well, we're gonna send the things that they really need, right? Because this is the hard part. A lot of people want to send different things to countries, and and in different times there's different needs. But one of the things people need is something that they can take on the go and they can keep going. What do we have that we're really good at doing that? Restore and relive greens, right? So we're going to come up with and give me back my youth is an interesting one. But the biggest one in that environment, because you have people dealing with injuries, you have people dealing with stress, right? So we want to decrease their parasympathetic function, which we know Restore is really good at doing. So it's going to hit on multiple aspects. So we're looking at how we're going to do that, what donations we get, how, and then we're going to match them. And then we're going to have a bunch of Restore and probably some Relive greens. We're going to identify where we ship it to, and we have actually really good friends that are in the Turkish region that we're going to do what we can to help out.
So for the month of March, we're going to be taking donations at this account, which is the hello@rahmdonations.com. So anybody who and of course, when you're moving things throughout your wallet, of course, that means that you're not having to take it out. That means you're not being taxed on it. That means there's a lot of different things going on. So there's a bunch of positives to this, but the biggest positive is that we're going to accumulate all this over the month of March, and then in April we're going to make the donation and move things forward. And everything doesn't necessarily have to go to one certain foundation, because what we're doing is taking it all in, and then we'll split it between where we need to. So there could be some that goes to Turkey, some that goes to Syria, et cetera, and we work that through.
Because there's a lot of displaced people. I mean, there's one of the primary cities in southern Turkey that's right on the border that no longer exists.
Yeah.
And there was so much history that was there from the Ottoman Empire and everything, which is absolutely horrible. But being able to work, you can say, on both sides, but to help as many people as possible.
We also, something that I have done with other companies that I've worked with and, generated funds to donate, we would literally like find a family or find someone or some group that needs immediate help, and we would send it to that very group. And then we would go through and then we would document that to like share with all of you guys what we were able to do. And I think that's awesome. There are a lot of animals struggling. Pat had just mentioned from Finland. Hi, Pat from Finland. Nice to see you.
Pat's got people dropping buckets too.
Pat does have people dropping buckets. Pat, there's a shipment in the mail to you, by the way. I know there's going to be some questions. I see one question already from Martina Fleming. If you could just write it in the chat, that'd be great. And then we'll take care of that in the chat and we can answer it. So they don't have to unmute everyone. If that could happen. So we're excited to do this. This is something that I think speaks volumes from the founders' hearts here, and with what the Rahm Foundation and what the Root Brands wants to do and wants to be, not only in our local communities, but in our global communities. Other than that, is Martina able to write a question here, or Patrick, can you just unmute her for a second so she can ask her question, I guess?
We got her to put her hand down.
Oh, she put her hand down, so maybe she understood. Or I have a person which is now living in Turkey and helping the people who really need help, and she has a group of people. That's amazing. So
Perfect.
that might be someone that we would have them reach out to us, and maybe Martina, if you could have them connect with us and let us know through you or whatever, what they need, what they're going through. We'd love to hear that story, and we'd love to figure out a way to, I mean, I think it would be awesome if we could have something that we can actually justifiably gauge the help that we did. We used to do that in California. We would go down for a day and build houses in Mexico and like build 2 houses in a day. It's crazy that you can build a couple houses in a day in Mexico. But something like that would be awesome. Oh, we're translating this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Roland. Sorry, I'll try to slow down.
Roland is.
On another note, so Monica, please write in English. Yes. On another note, a volunteer for Syrians addresses for donations in the area. Great, Martina. That's amazing. How can ambassadors give? The way ambassadors can give is you go into your wallet transfer, which is super awesome. Any of you that don't know how to do that, get with someone, because it's an extremely effective tool that Clay has created for us to use the community within its own self in order to transfer funds. So go into your wallet, go to wallet transfers, put in whatever you want. It's going to ask for an email address for you to transfer it to. The email address that you're going to use.
Non-ambassadors too.
Non-ambassadors that want to give.
A customer can upload, you can top up or upload money into your account and then forward it in your wallet. And
Can
this is actually
Can the
something,
customer move things from a wallet?
I think they can do
I
a
don't know if they can do
transfer.
that,
But the one thing that's important is what we're talking about doing for Syria and for Turkey is something that all of you can do for any other cause that you get behind. Nonprofit organizations, someone that's had an accident, someone that's had a medical emergency, you see people going on all of these different, what are some of the GoFundMe things? And
Yes, of course.
that take like 10 or 20% of all the money that's donated.
We would take
We don't
0.
take jack. And if you have someone that has a medical emergency, the products are probably going to help them anyway. But you're not only going to create something that people can get involved with, that it's a great way to introduce the products to people because their purchases are going to benefit another cause, but also teaching them if they like the products and they share the products, every single purchase that's done from their sharing is going to benefit that cause, right? So you're going to create continual giving, continual donations, continual revenue for the causes that you want to participate with. We have some amazing nonprofit organizations and ministries that are doing just outstandingly well with that process. They're helping people get healthy. They're helping people become the best versions of themselves. At the same time, they're getting the financial rewards to do what they need to do to continue their mission.
1 second, I just saw somebody said that
AramaicRelief.com. I love that.
somebody just said that hello@Rahm donations doesn't work. 1 second, let me test it because I had it working earlier. I apologize. Let me look at this.
Wait for it.
I'll go to my wallet transfer. Wallet transfer. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Bear with me.
Wrong.
It's hello at rahmdonations.com. rahmdonations.com.
It's not working.
It's not working. Hold on,
Right? Oh.
Guys, give me 5 minutes to make sure that begins to be active. I asked for it to be activated earlier, so we'll do that right now to make sure it does get active.
Patrick screwed it up.
It's not Patrick. This is not Patrick at all.
Thanks, Clay. I'm on it, fixing it though.
We'll blame Patrick. Everyone, if there's a problem, Patrick did it.
It's probably more me.
John Hayden provided me some insight on text as we were talking, and it's very, very important that I think everyone understands this. That if one of the keys. in
Guys, I just sent a
cultures
text to make sure it comes up. Keep going.
is bacon. Bacon's
Bacon.
amazing.
So quick
Sometimes.
compliance stuff while we work that out. So many people have been starting their own Google, they're trying to do Google ads, they're trying to utilize the internet to empower them to find new customers, which we are huge fans of. We love that. That's why this genius guy over here created this entire ecosystem so you guys can go out and do that.
Encourage everybody to do
We
it.
really have encouraged people. This is where we want to like be clear and put some like parameters in place. What we want you to do is go out and find those new customers and utilize the internet. But what we don't want you to do is ever impersonate HQ. So we have a few things that we put into place that you cannot use when you are creating a new website or anything of that nature. First and foremost, the words therootbrands.com. You cannot use the Root Brands. We're the Root Brands. HQ is the Root Brands. You can't impersonate the Root Brands. You have to use something else for your domain.
And this is where network it's going to be really
And network is going to be amazing for this, by the way. Secondarily, you cannot use Dr. Rahm, Dr. Christina Rahm in your heading, because we also don't want you to represent or try to mimic that you're Dr. Rahm. So we understand that like you would be talking about Dr. Rahm at some point, potentially, if you have a website that you create that talks about root. How could you not talk about Dr. Rahm? She's a chief formulator. When you're creating your search terms, you can't use Dr. Christina Rahm or Dr. Rahm in those things or her picture. So those are two like very basic things that we want to set up so people understand. Another huge no-no that we're just trying to protect you guys for is please do not make any false claims. Please watch your verbiage. So we always say, avoid saying the word vaccine. Avoid saying things like detox. Avoid saying things like mitochondria. Avoid saying things like we cure XYZ.
Unless it's boredom or stupidity.
If it's boredom or stupidity, you can say you cure it because he certainly cures that. But you can't use those things for general search terms in your little jargon that you put up on the internet that shows up when you do this. Further to that, when people, no one can claim to be corporate, we'd like you to diversify yourself in some respect to make sure you're not corporate. If you look too much like corporate, then we're going to come back and say you have to actually say on your site, we are not a corporate site, which could be problematic. Again, we're making this very simple. The Root Brands, Dr. Christina Rahm, these are things to not use. Further to that, we would greatly prefer for everyone to utilize images and any sort of content that represents who we are. And by that, we mean making sure there's no way we can go around the globe and police every single account or YouTube or Instagram that comes up. But Carolyn, how are you? I don't even see your name. I just see it's you. 1 second. So we also want to be clear that we would greatly prefer for people to use images and content that represents what we represent. So if you think it's on the cusp of maybe not representing Dr. Christina Rahm, Mr. Clayton Thomas, even myself, anybody here at HQ, we're going to ask you to please, we have a website, we're creating community. And as Dr. Rahm likes to say, we want our kids to be able to look at these things. We want everyone globally to be able to look at these things. Please keep it as pure and vanilla as possible. We're not a sex sells company. We don't go for the hot trendy thing. We're going for health and performance. We want to create beautiful lives for people and help elongate those lives.
Well, we're bringing sexy back.
Well, you might be, but I'm not. I'm too old for that. Carolyn, Pat, can you unmute Carolyn so she can ask me? Are you, or sorry, ask her to unmute. There you go, Carolyn. Give it.
Hey guys. I just want to make sure I understood you correctly.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the rootbrands.com as well as Dr. Christina Rahm and or her picture is not supposed to be on the header and is not supposed
on the header. So when you make a Google ad,
right.
the Google ad comes up with like lines of what you're doing. It'll say clean slate, the root
Right.
brands, blah, blah. So we would like you to not use terms like the root brands and Dr. Christina Rahm in that header portion. When
Okay.
if you're creating a funnel that goes through to something that goes to a site you create, we understand that you're going to be using Dr. Christina Rahm's image in some likeness or whatever and talking about her because she's such an integral portion of the company. In your search terms that would come up on Google Ads, we'd like you to not use that because we don't want to we don't want it to make it look like you're impersonating her.
Okay, yeah, got this. That's clear. Thank you. And as you were speaking of pictures, I was wondering if we were allowed to use, for instance, the pictures that you guys are using on your Instagram accounts, or is there any copyright issue with that? because you can just screenshot the pictures from Instagram and use them because they're great pictures. Is that okay or not? Or can you clarify that?
Absolutely. You know, if you see stuff on our socials, that's stuff that is put up there for you guys to use.
As long as it's coming from our socials specifically, and you're not
Yeah.
grabbing it from someone else's
I'll give
social, and then it
you-
gets diluted.
I'll give you guys a little insight into socials too, because I'm not very creative, but what I like to do is I'll find different memes or different quotes and such. And I'll take a screenshot because I have my phone and I'll just frame it the way that I want it. And then a lot of times I'll have it rootified because I don't know how to do that, but I have people who do now. That I'll put the root logo on something, on a cool quote, or you know, if you play with Canva, I mean, as long as you're not making the wrong claims, you know, anything that Dr. Rahm puts on social media or I put on social media is not just for us to post, it's for you guys to use, right? And be creative. I mean, honestly, one of the beautiful parts of, you know, what we do and what the ecosystem is the opportunity to morph and, you know, have different conversations for some of the same subject matter, right? Be creative. You should try to be as creative as possible because it's the creativity that's going to put eyes on whatever you're doing. Because people are like, well, wait a minute, what was that? What do you mean you take this product? Like with Ted and I, when we were walking in Frankfurt, we came up with an idea for the coolest commercial ever. We're gonna do like the coolest 30-second commercial.
Awesome.
It's gonna be money, and it'll go local. I guarantee it, based on my following, that at least 6 people will watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it at least 12 times because it's going to be hilarious what we have to do. It'll be better than Superman dying. But, you know, it really, business and marketing in general rewards the creatives.
So true.
Right? So you guys have your own platform to be as creative as you want.
With
Right?
class.
We have
Creative with class.
Yes, we have eyes on stuff. So don't be inappropriate. That's my job. Don't be non-compliant because we can't be that. And mama needs her laptop.
So
because we've got more work.
one last thing about just so everyone knows, we've been getting a lot of questions about the fill of bottles. I want to be clear. I literally went today and I took a beaker and I measured 30 milliliters of water.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You actually
I
tested
sent you a video.
I know, I watched the video.
Listen to me. When you look at your clean slate bottle, it should just be a tinge above the actual.
Or even when you look at your new Bill and Coo.
So as an example, this
You
bottle
see how
is well
full this thing is?
overfilled.
See where this
can't even
line
see
is
it.
on the label right here?
Let's
Right,
do it on this side.
right here. You see this line, this label line? Just right, that line is 30 mLs.
Just
Anything
above that
it-
is 30 ml.
just above it so you can see it. Anything above that is a bonus. Notice how this one's like full up because I've asked the lab because many people have had questions about it's not full enough. So I had the lab overfill the bottles to give us more value. Actually, not me, it cost me more money. To
Give
give
you
you
guys
guys
value.
more value. So there you go. So the top line of the label here, just above it, is 30 mLs.
Yeah.
Everything above that is bonus.
Someone asked me about the
material.
beaker being inside of it. And my point is going to be, is the beaker being inside of it? We don't know if there's liquid in the beaker because I
Look.
take my beaker out all the time. There's
Look,
liquid
if
and
you
there's
do
liquid
that,
in it.
Look, it's got liquid in it. I squeezed it, and then I squeeze it, and it doesn't change because it's full up.
So just be aware that like normally now, could there be a variation? Of course there could. We're realists. We understand that there's errors that happen. But please recognize that 9 out of 10 bottles are overfilled. And if you're going to send me pictures with 16 bottles in front of you and a few of them are,
Good job for buying them all.
that's kind of what I say. If you were to average all that out, you would win. So another quick piece of that. Anybody that has any questions about compliance or any of those things, let me know. As a quick drop, for those of you that are in Europe, Be prepared because tomorrow it's going to be interesting because you're going to be able to pay with the euro.
What?
So
Molly's live.
March 1st, Molly will be live. I'm going to tell everybody this.
I'm actually working on something with PayPal and the rest of the stuff that we'll be able to do euros.
I'm going to
Euros
say,
and pounds.
I'm
and
going to
dollars,
say this right now.
Maybe Aussie dollars.
We need to realize that we're asking everybody to understand that, go into it. It's going to be an option. There will be a learning curve because as an example, if you were to log on in the United States site and then try to go over to the European site, it's going to clear your cart and you won't be able to do it. So you have to log into the site that you want to utilize. Then you'll utilize that site. You can't switch around. Further to that, until further notice, all RPS orders will still be going through the United States site. Okay. So I'm telling this group of leaders, 266 of you, that I would like you to understand. Please listen to these words closely. Soft launch for Molly starts tomorrow. You'll be able to go on and buy something.
You know the cool part?
I encourage you to try it.
There's like 130,000+ people and we have 266 here. So it's the job of these 266 to inform the other 120,000.
It's a lot of responsibility.
There you go. It's on you guys.
So please, RPS is currently going to be still running through the United States site. Everything else you'll be able to do site. You'll be able to do payments on the European site. And there's the exchange rate that goes through. We'll be changing that exchange rate only if it exceeds up or down over like 1.5 points. So if you're off 50 cents, if you're under 50 cents and you want to go buy it on the United States site, guess what? You're welcome to. We're not going to do an exact thing every day. It's too hard to code. So just let me be clear. It's going to be live tomorrow. Enjoy that. Give us some
Let's
tests
go.
and let's make it a positive thing for everybody. And if
It's like Mika's party
yeah,
day.
if Mika is on this call,
I think if Mika's not already platinum, she's gonna go presidential
Just-
tomorrow because she's gonna
just-
call everybody in the Netherlands going, you can get this stuff now.
yeah, it's about a year too late, but you know what? Better late than never.
It took time.
So anyways, an enormous amount of work, enormous amount of work and enormous amount of congratulations and thankfulness to go
Yeah.
out to our IT department. Because every single time we thought we had it cured, we thought we had it solved.
That was the hard part is
something
they
else
had to
came up.
code a bunch of stuff on the back end to make sure it worked. It wasn't just plug and play. And the thing that we love to do as we wrap up any time that we get to spend together is a Burgett report.
I just want to ask, because I'm going to be bugged with that, the commissions will still be in dollars, right?
Yes,
Even if
yes,
you-
calculate
all
everything
dollars.
Okay,
as far as-
even if you pay in euro, that's a convenience for you. And will it be a SEPA account also, so you can pay without credit card and without PayPal?
Yes, you have Molly. Molly allows you.
like 8 or 9 or 10
Yes.
different options that you can choose.
Superb, super. That was Mika's problem because she said in Holland or in the Netherlands, nobody has a credit card and they don't like PayPal. So that will be solved tomorrow. And as you said, Mika will go berserk because she has been waiting for that for a long time. Thank you very much. And MassPay is working lickety split now, and I have to congratulate Patrick because I think he solved that problem with a very productive call. Everything is working fine now. Thank you.
Perfect. Well,
Awesome.
and it's month end. We've got like 10 hours left for the end of February. So
That's
many
why I
of you-
hope for the cookbook to
Oh.
bring up some ranks. You should put it immediately into the shop so we can storm it. Give your heart a push.
We could have.
Only 100. I'll be the first one to buy it.
Amazing.
What ring size am I? Am I a
10.
7?
You're a 10.
Oh.
Thank you all. That's it. Give her computer back. Say goodbye.
All right, we're giving it back to Mom.
We'll have the hello@rahmdonations.com live in the next hour.
Man, we might just turn on the book for people. You never know. It's gonna be on RPS.
Never know.
but should we light it up?
Oh, that's your call. Last time I checked, you made those decisions.
Let's
It's
do
like the pre-launch for all our good ambassadors to top up their ranks.
it. Yeah, let's go. I know. No, it takes a
I'm
little.
the
bit of
voice
work
of
to light
Reason
something
from
up.
Germany.
You know what? Can we turn the shields on?
Yeah, we can probably.
Okay, let's turn the shields on.
Just the shields.
Yeah, just the shields. There we go. Well, the cookbook's gonna take some work, so I don't know if it's all coded properly. But we're gonna turn the shields on because we've got over 1,000 of them that are root branded shields. And I'll tell you this from experience, traveling with these little guys, they are outstanding. So, and root branded ones, great conversation piece. And it's nothing like having fresh air amongst shedding people and toxic air when you're traveling. So we'll have those, we'll have the cookbooks. Hopefully this was exciting and informative. And Pat, we're gonna have some fun with more basketball. Now we have to start reaching out to other basketball teams that aren't in the league that your team is in, because when teams start winning by 35, it's actually a good time. Bernie, happy end of February. And everyone else, konnichiwa, my friends. See you soon.